So I often get asked on social media, what books should I buy during my apprenticeship? First of all, I would say whichever books you buy, you should read them. Often my learners over a 19-year period will buy the books suggested by the staff and not read them. If you're the sort of person that won't read a book, don't bother buying it, save the money, maybe buy yourself a tool, and then go back into the classroom, and when they say to you, have you got the book, just say, no I haven't, because I wouldn't bother reading it. Hopefully by clicking on this video already, you're the sort of person that's interested in the books required in order to further develop yourself as an apprentice. Please note first of all, depending on when you're watching this, some of the colour schemes, especially for the IET's books, will change over time, and you're always looking for the latest book at the latest edition. So we're shooting this in April 2020, and we're currently in the blue version of BS 7671 Amendment, well, effectively 1, but it isn't. They haven't actually changed the book for Amendment 1, so you're looking for blue stripes or blue books to do with the IET, but this will change over time, so make sure you look for the latest edition. Especially if you're searching online, you might find the book with the wrong colour, the previous edition, will be considerably cheaper than the book you require to buy for the latest edition. So with this in mind, let's look at some of the books that I believe that you're going to need as you work your way through your apprenticeship. I don't believe there's a college course up and down the country that's doing anything to do with electrical that won't require you to buy your on-site guide. And again, all my learners that I've taught over the years will buy their version of the on-site guide, and very few of them will actually read it. I understand it's mildly technical, especially when you come into a course maybe as a full-time learner at level 1. Some of the words and some of the information here is way more complicated than the level you're at. There is no better time to start reading the book than when you first start the course, and over time the stuff that you've read more than once will start to mean something as the college lecturers layer in the information that you require. So you're going to need the on-site guide. Okay, so that's the first book that I recommend that everybody has, and I would have a copy of it maybe even before a starter course. So if you're looking to start a course maybe in September of an academic year, to look for the on-site guide, but just confirm first of all that it's the latest edition. Failing that, hire it out of a library and start reading it before you start the course. So that's almost a compulsory book that you're going to require in order to become hopefully an apprentice eventually. If you're already an apprentice, again, you're going to need this book. So the on-site guide being the first one. So now it's choice. There's loads of choice out there, and I recommend in the comments below, if there's a book that you absolutely love that you've used over the years, please put it in there, and it'll be one that probably isn't in front of me. Also at these difficult times, I haven't got all access to all the books that I've got at college. I've only got the ones that I've kept for personal use. So let's go on then to one of my favourite books. So we've got this one here. This one here, the Electrical Installations Book 1, also has a Book 2. So there must be a reason why there is 2 books. So the first book concentrates on the City and Guilds 5357, which is currently the apprenticeship number required for your apprenticeship scheme if you're doing City and Guilds. And it concentrates on the first element of science and principles, health and safety, and your installation theory within the workshop. So in other words, the techniques required in order to fabricate wiring systems. Really important, because at 5357 you have a practical assessment 107, and all the skills in this book are covered in your 5357. So whatever skills are in here, a lot of those skills will be required in order to pass your practical assessment. It also covers a qualification called the 8202. And as we sit in early 2020, this is the qualification it looks like a lot of colleges up and down the country are moving towards. There is a 7202, which is a level 1. There's an 8202 at level 2 and level 3. This covers the 8202 at the level 2 aspect of it. It also covers an EAL level 2 diploma as well within this book. So this is really your opening book if you're doing the first part of your apprenticeship or a level 2 qualification at college. Now, often books aren't written specifically for a level 1 course. They're often written for level 2 and above. So if you're doing a level 1 course, I still recommend this book because you'll carry it through to years 2 and 3 of your actual qualification, whether you be a full-time learner or an apprenticeship. So I strongly recommend this book. Also, some of the practical techniques in here I've covered on videos on GSH because I know they come up in the 5357 practical assessment. The second book, so the book 2 version of this, continues on for the rest of the 5357 qualification. So it takes you on to the more design and the more difficult science and principles aspects of that qualification. It also then jumps up to the 8202 level 3, so that's the book 2 version of this, and it goes on to do the EAL level 3 diploma. So I'll recommend this book in your early parts of your studies, and then obviously as you progress through to pick up the second version of this book. Always remember to look for the latest edition of the book. It will change over time, especially with changes to the wiring regulations. These two books here, if you're lucky enough to be doing an EAL qualification, should be given to you for free. So if your college lecturers have ticked the right part of the enrolment form, you actually get the book sent to you. So they did say to me they were doing a level 1 version of the book, which at the moment hasn't been seen by me, so whether it hasn't been released I don't know. But they certainly do an EAL level 2 diploma book, which is this one. Fantastic book. If they've written a book all about their own qualification, it'll be one definitely worth reading, and there are also questions in there to help you with your multi-choice exam. So this is an EAL level 2 diploma book, and it's changed recently. It's now written by Trevor Lindsay, again a gentleman that you should look out for when buying books. Trevor Lindsay has wrote some fantastic books over the years, and this is the latest one for EAL qualifications at level 2. This book here hasn't been changed yet, but might be by the time we get to academic year 2021. So this is their level 3 EAL book. Again, both books can be bought online, but if you're lucky enough to be doing an EAL qualification, you should get the book for free. And again, it covers all the aspects of the syllabus of which they've set out, and obviously a good read of this puts you in fantastic stead to pass all your exams, whether they be written or online exams. So again, for EAL qualifications, I strongly recommend getting access to these books, buying them, being given them as part of the course, or maybe getting them out of the library. There are some other books which I haven't got in front of me that I want to mention on the way through. I want to mention the Student's Guide to the Wiring Regulations. Now, it's physically the same size as an on-site guide, but it's black, which I think is a really cool colour to have for a book. And in that book, it doesn't just concentrate on sending students through the wiring regulations aspects of their course. It actually stops and looks at things like Ohm's law, how to wire one-way, two-way and intermediate switching, etc. It's a very, very good book. And unfortunately, I've left mine at college and I haven't got access to get back there to show you it. I've hopefully brought a picture of that book in on the screen. And again, as a supplementary book, maybe to the ones for an EAL diploma or the books 1 and 2 that I like that follow you through as well, this would be one of those books that I strongly recommend to my students. I never tell them they have to buy books, okay? Different people, different circumstances. But obviously the on-site guide is a must on all courses, but the additional books are down to the discretion of the actual learner themselves. But that guide book, which is black in colour, would be a strong recommendation as an extra book to go alongside your course as you work all the way through your apprenticeship. Again, you've got to look for the latest version compared to the regulations. So now we're in a stage where maybe we're progressing deeper into our course, maybe look at the apprenticeships or the level 3 full-time learners, and you're going to have to start adding books to your collections. So which books will we look to add? There's a chance to have the NICEIC, EIC and Alexa's site guide book. That's a really good book. And what we like about these style of books, they're full of glossy colour pictures to go with the text within the book. So therefore making it an easier to understand book. So example, premature collapse of the wiring system, small section on it, and then they show you some clips that actually conform and where you would place them around the cables, etc. on a bare joist, things like that. So really good book to go alongside other books that you may want to buy on your course, and one that I would recommend to my learners. So we're deep now into a level 3 or an apprenticeship course, and you're doing lots of testing and fault finding. I know there's no need to do electrical installation condition reports, okay, so you're just testing new circuits and verifying them, but there is a fault finding section. So within the fault finding section, you're obviously got to look what's wrong with the installation, and this leads you nicely into this book. It's a second version of this. This is the Codebreaker by Napit, so very, very good book. It's probably 3 times bigger than the original book, and we'll give you scenarios so you can code them C1, C2, C3, further investigation. So this book here would be a strong recommendation from Gaz as you're towards the very end of your apprenticeship. Also, if you look in the contributors towards the book, so if I look in the front of this book here, and the people and organisations that contributed towards it, GSH Electrical and Gary Hairs are noted within that section there. So there's another good reason to buy it. So that's that book. Obviously, we're going to be needing, during our apprenticeship, to complete the latest regulations course. So you're going to need a copy of BS 7671's wiring regulations. That goes without saying. So these are some of the books that I recommend that you can use during your course. You're obviously going to need Guidance Notes 3 as well, and the latest version of that as you get towards the back end of an apprenticeship. Again, in the comments below, if there's a book you absolutely think got you through your apprenticeship and was a fantastic read, please note it in the bottom. If you can put it in the comments along with the ISBN number, that will help other people search for it, or maybe even a link to where they can go and buy it. So these are some of the books that I believe will help you through your electrical apprenticeship. A question often asked to me, and now I've answered it. So as always, I hope this video has been some help.